Remove her rifle completely. Major Blake's order echoed across Camp Grayson as they took Maya's primary weapon away. 5 elite soldiers prepared to end her career in what should have been a quick, humiliating defeat. But when Maya smiled as they took her rifle, Private Jessica Martinez felt her blood run cold. They'd just made a terrible mistake. What unfolded in the next 95 seconds would become legend. Not because of what Maya Torres lost that day, but because of what she revealed. This is the story of how one woman, stripped of everything she was supposed to need, showed an entire military base what real power actually looks like. Before we dive into what happened that day, I want you to know something. Stories like Maya's take months to uncover. Buried files, redacted records, whispers that people are afraid to repeat. But they matter because strength doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes it walks quietly into a room and changes everything without saying a word. If stories like this move you, hit that like button and subscribe, because there are more quiet heroes out there than you might imagine. Maya Torres had arrived at Camp Grayson 4 weeks earlier with a file so clean it made Commander Lisa Hayes suspicious. Only 7 pages, vague postings, no decorations. But one line haunted her: previous clearance level, Echo Black, archived. She'd never seen archived attached to a living candidate. Sergeant Jake Morrison made Maya his personal target from day one. At Camp Grayson, weakness got people killed, and he was determined to expose what he saw as their biggest liability. Maya wore civilian boots, moved with unnatural calm, and seemed to absorb his harassment without breaking. But Private Jessica Martinez noticed things Morrison missed. Martinez had grown up third of 7 children where you learn to listen before speaking. Something about Maya made her instincts scream warnings she couldn't identify. During weapons training, Maya fumbled with her XM9 rifle like she'd never seen one before. She touched each component hesitantly, movements slow and uncertain. Yet she finished field stripping in 6 minutes while maintaining perfect incompetence theater. Martinez realized Maya's hesitation was choreographed, her struggles calculated. It wasn't just technical knowledge, it was muscle memory from situations where failure meant death. At the shooting range, Morrison positioned himself behind Maya theatrically, ready to critique every missed shot. Maya stepped forward methodically, consulting what looked like half-remembered training. Desert heat shimmered across her scope as she fired once. Then again, each shot carefully spaced like she was trying not to impress anyone. When the target came back, everything changed. It wasn't 5 separate holes, it was one ragged opening, dead center. 5 shots, single point of entry. Master Gunner Frank Voss went pale. He'd seen groupings like that 3 times in his career, always from shooters whose names ended up redacted in classified files. Morrison dismissed it as beginner's luck, clinging to his narrative about Maya's incompetence. Hand-to-hand training brought new revelations. Maya was paired with Rodriguez, a former wrestler with 70 pounds on her. She looked uncertain, hesitant. But Martinez saw the truth. Right before Maya moved, her weight shifted by millimeters. Her grip adjusted with surgical precision. The technique wasn't what Morrison taught. It was refined, learned from people who used these moves when second place meant death. Rodriguez hit the mat with a thud, got up with respectful confusion. When Morrison tried correcting Maya's form, she just nodded. But her nod said she'd done these exact moves against opponents who would have killed Morrison instantly. Other trainees began to notice too. The way Maya's movements seemed effortless despite her supposed inexperience. How she never seemed winded after exercises that left seasoned candidates gasping. There was something fundamentally different about her, something that didn't match the struggling civilian in her file. Each day brought fresh attempts to humiliate her. Maya responded with mechanical calm, giving them no anger to exploit, no weakness to target. She was smoke drifting through a battlefield full of fire. Week 4 brought the reality check drill. Major Blake called it separating pretenders from reality. Survive 30 seconds against 5 elite fighters or face immediate discharge. Maya stood in the center, supposedly their weakest candidate. The announcement came after lights out. Blake stood before harsh floodlights like a prophet preparing revelation. Tomorrow, we separate pretenders from the real thing. This isn't a drill. It's truth serum delivered at combat speed. His eyes locked onto Maya. Torres, you've struggled with basic competencies since day 1. 5-on-1 combat. No weapons, no resets. If you're still standing after 30 seconds, we'll call it divine intervention. Maya smiled. Not defiance, but eerie contentment, like hearing familiar music no one else detected. Martinez's instincts screamed they'd picked the wrong person. By morning, the entire base had gathered. Medics prepped trauma kits. Commander Hayes appeared after spending all night reviewing Maya's file, particularly one haunting line, archival tier, observe only, classified under shadow folder. The 5 fighters were legends: Rodriguez, Carter, Williams, Jensen, and Brooks. They stretched casually, supremely confident the outcome was predetermined. But when Maya emerged, everything changed. Her stride was different, centered, predatory. Rolling up her sleeves revealed scars her file never mentioned. Bullet traces, surgical marks, shrapnel memories speaking to experiences that didn't happen during civilian work. Hayes realized the truth. Maya wasn't a candidate. She was a relic from operations they weren't supposed to acknowledge. Blake raised his whistle. Maya faced him with words that cut through desert air. Just one question. When this is over, will you finally admit you never knew what you were looking at? The attackers spread into a semicircle, confident from years training together. Strategy, overwhelmed with speed and angles, hit hard and fast. The whistle blasted. Rodriguez charged like a freight train, but Maya shifted 8 inches left at the last moment. He stumbled past while her hand touched his neck with surgical precision. His legs gave out instantly. He collapsed like a building whose foundation had vanished. Carter and Williams flanked from opposite sides, but Maya had disappeared, leaving them to collide mid-sprint. Before they could rise, she was among them. A palm strike to Carter's shoulder, a precise foot to Williams's knee. Both neutralized. Jensen came in low, reaching for her legs with grappling techniques that had never failed. Maya rose like smoke, her elbow connecting to his skull base. He crumpled instantly. 95 seconds had passed. Only Brooks remained, trembling, staring at something he couldn't comprehend. Maya wasn't fighting. She was expressing violence like a native language. Hayes spotted the tattoo on Maya's arm. 6 parallel lines, 1 crossed out. Echo Division. The Phantom Unit. Operatives whose records didn't exist. The cross line meant Maya had been presumed dead. I yield, Brooks whispered. Maya checked each fighter clinically, ensuring no permanent damage except to their assumptions. Martinez began clapping, others joined, until everyone stood. They weren't applauding victory, they were acknowledging revelation. Maya walked away with the same unhurried grace she'd arrived with. Within hours, she was quietly reassigned to advanced combat instruction, her past resealed, her name never spoken officially again. Those 95 seconds would echo through Camp Grayson for years, not as a drill, but as a redefinition of what deadly actually looked like. This story reminds us that strength doesn't always announce itself with medals. Sometimes the most powerful people choose invisibility until truth demands otherwise. If Maya's story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe. There are more quiet heroes out there than we know, and their stories deserve to be told.